Welcome to the Sound Leadership Podcast, the show that helps you build awareness and inspire personal responsibility through action. Hit subscribe, give us a follow, and leave your comments. Today we're doing something different on the Sound Leadership. We want to help you overcome some of your most practical leadership challenges that you face. So we asked you what you wanted to know, and you submitted your questions on LinkedIn. Today we will answer those questions for you, and we'll answer in a way that is relevant to you, to others, and all types of business. Welcome to Sound Leadership, the podcast for the silent superheroes of L&D, HR and leadership. The show that helps you build awareness and inspire personal responsibility through action. I'm your host, Dan Boniface, and with me is co-host Darren Draper. We wanted to address your questions directly, so we thought we would make this special bonus episode for you. We will unpack your challenges and give you solutions to help you either take or inspire personal responsibility. We hope you enjoy. Don't forget to hit subscribe, give us a follow, and leave your comments and share with others that may benefit from Sound Leadership Podcast. Darren, I'm really looking forward to this. It's something slightly different for us, but it means that we've had the questions in directly, and we've got a few that we want to run through for this episode. And if it goes well and you enjoy listening, then we'll do more of them. But
I also think the questions just bring it to life. You know, we talk about lots of theories, and actually just bringing them to life with these questions, I think is really important.
Let's dive straight in then. So the first question is actually from my brother, Adam, in South Africa, in Cape Town. His question is, are there any tips on the transition from managing direct reports to managing managers? Should things change in your approach?
So in my opinion, we should not try and manage a job title. We should try and manage a person. And I think that comes at any level in a business. So I'm not sure it's about changing our approach, but it might be changing that pendulum slightly that we talk about. So, and that's between our leadership behaviours and our managed behaviours. So, you know, think of people and task. Actually, the higher up we go up in a business, when we're managing managers, we need to be managing those people instead of trying to get those results. So I would say it's about looking at some of those leadership behaviours that we do, delegation, feedback, lead with questionings at when we're managing our direct reports, and do the same with those managers to allow them the space to be able to blossom and to show their worth to a business.
And our research and understanding and getting to speak to experts on the sound leadership is that there's fundamentals missing in leadership across the whole organisation. So I'd encourage you to keep instilling those in the team, keep developing your skills, and then support others in doing that as well. And things like becoming a great delegator will have a big impact for both you and for those managers managing other people. So delegation is right up there. As a side note, if delegating, remember, you got to let go. You can't hold on to it. You can't micromanage it. Trust the people around you. Question 2, Mark Smiddy. In a small agency where everyone wears multiple hats, how can a leader make sure the team stays motivated without burning people out?
So, you know, from my past experience, what normally happens is there is a lack of accountability. Because everyone does everything, no one is accountable. That means, because there's also sometimes no clear vision, people don't understand the route that they're taking. So I think what's key when there are multiple hats is, who does the buck stop with though? Or where it stops with all of us. Yeah, but when there's more than one accountability, there's no accountability, because everyone goes, someone else will deal with it. So create those clear accountabilities. Then we add into people. There's a little fact we found that Gallup's study shows that when people spend even 20% of their week on energising work, the task they find meaningful, engagement doubles. So what I would say by that is, we may see a task as repetitive because that's what we would class as a maintenance task. We just do it week in, week out. It could be someone else's development task. So if people become more energised at work through doing developing tasks that allow them to grow, tasks that are new to them, then it's really important that we make sure we're spreading that across the workforce.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also about understanding expectations. What is the culture around your organisation that you're trying to build? Are you working in a role culture where people understand their role exactly and that's all they do? Or are you in more of a team culture where every so often people have got to chip in to things that aren't necessarily under their normal area of expertise? And as you said there, Darren, it's about assigning responsibility and accountability around that as well. Someone has to be in charge of particular areas, because otherwise we get chaos in business, and we've seen that, and would encourage you to understand the expectations. But what do you want as a leader in your business? The other aspect for me is let's ask first, tell later. Let's understand our team, because if we understand who they are, if we get their opinions, we're more likely to bring them on board. People feel empowered. So what we don't like as humans is when we don't have autonomy. So we need to create that freedom of decision making, of thought processes, and typically we can get people on board and motivate through that. When we talk about motivation, 3 key areas: purpose, mastery, autonomy. So allow people to understand the purpose of the business. What is it that you're trying to achieve? Give them opportunity to master the skills, and give them autonomy in terms of how they will achieve that for you and with you. Question 3, Roland Seddon. What advice would you give leaders in understanding how good members of their team are? Who should they invest time in? Who can be developed, improved, and who can't? And how long do you give people to deliver and or improve?
Okay. So I'm going to start with who can be developed, stroke improved, and who can't. So anyone can be developed, but it's down to their mindset. So it's down to them. It's not down to you. So they must want to be improved and developed. If they don't want to be improved and develop and just want to be hard work, they can't. So that'd probably be the only group that I don't think can be developed. Who should you invest time in? You should invest time in as many people as everyone if possible, because actually, if you don't invest the time in them, your behaviours then can affect an outcome, because if you're not sharing your knowledge and your expertise with them, they don't grow because they don't feel important. They're not getting the information that other people are getting that mean you look at them and go, they're underperforming. But it comes from your behaviours and how you are with them, not who they are as a person. And then, how do we understand how good members of the team are? For me, it's around creating the space that people can show their talents through your delegating, through your development opportunities. People sometimes don't understand how good they are either, because they've never been in that situation before. Johari's window, there's 4 boxes. Hidden, that means I know it about myself, but others don't know it. Open, I know it about me, others know it about me. Blind, which means others know it about me, but I don't know it about myself. And then unknown, which is I don't know it about me and others don't know it about me. So what we want to do as leaders is move the hidden talents, so talents that they know they have, into the open so we can see them, but also to grow that unknown box, that even talents that they don't know they've got, by doing new things and trying new things out, they discover and learn new things about themselves, which then moves those talents into that open box. So the more we give them the space to show these talents, the more we can see.
Let's chuck another one in there, another model for you. Imagine you've got on your spreadsheet or on your bit of paper, a table, 2 columns, run down. One says player, one says people. And then there's 3 rows, A, B, C. So we can, and please be careful, do not pigeonhole people. We're way more complex than that as humans, but where do we fit in at that current moment in time? So if we are an A player and an A people person, so player being performance, how we performing, are we hitting our targets, for example, and an A people being how well do we contribute to the team, how well do we build relationships, would we be missed if we weren't there? So if you're an AA, they're your top performers, absolute stars. Look after them, keep motivating them, keep them inspired. Often in business we see those AA players get ignored because we think, oh, they're okay, they'll just tick along nicely. Don't. Make sure you keep motivating them. BBs are in the middle. We've got to nurture them. We've got to put them in development programs, coach them so they become AAs. CCs are your big problems. So if they're a C player underperforming and a C people, you've got massive problems, because not only you've got underperformance, you've got someone that's toxic in your business. You need to do something about that. You also get combinations of, so you might have an A player but a C people. So you might have someone that is a great performer but doesn't get on well with the team, and they're toxic in that environment. So again, it's making those decisions. Are you able to make a difference and influence that person so they become an A-B, for example? One of my favourite sayings is, if you can't change the people, change the people. If you can't help them develop, motivate them, inspire them, there needs to be an exit strategy in place, whatever that looks like for individual businesses. But don't be afraid to rock the boat. And ultimately, we'd always go back to our personal responsibility theory, where it's their choice. If we've done everything we can as an individual, as a team manager, as an employer, to support them, to put interventions in place like coaching, and they are choosing not to develop, unfortunately, that's on them. So that's personal responsibility. So if you can't change the people, change the people. Question 4, James Pascal Smith. How do you keep a team positive and motivated through change or a challenging period?
Okay, so the first thing I'd say is we can't keep a team positive and motivated. That is up to them whether they stay positive and motivated. So the question is, what behaviours could we do to promote positive and motivated people? So I'm going to break down challenge and change, because challenge, let's talk about a redundancy process. What we do during those times is we try and protect our people. Actually, most of the time they don't need protecting. They want to be able to make the choices themselves. So keep giving them information. Don't hide stuff from them. Allow them to feel the emotions that they should be allowed to feel, and then support them with it. How can I support you? Now I've given you this information. How can I support you? What do you need? Because, from my redundancy process, there were some people that were like, fantastic, I'm being made redundant, I've got an opportunity to go somewhere else, I'm going to possibly get a lump sum, happy days, versus other people that are like, oh my God, I don't have a clue what I'm going to do, my world's just come crashing down. Get to know your people, don't try and protect them, support them behind. Now, change, when I done process change and things like that, the important thing is to involve people as early on in the process as possible. And by involve, I mean listen to them, ask the right questions, and get their ideas. Because the problem is most change, especially process change, happens to people. And we don't like that as human beings. We want a choice in this. If we're involved in that change, part of a change will always land better. And also, if change happens to you and problems start when there's process change, which always does, they don't go, oh, well, this change is poor, and suddenly it's never going to work going forward. What they do is go, I've been part of it. I know that there'll be stumbling blocks. How can I sort that out? So it helps you long term to create that sustainable change, embed it correctly, and create that continuous improvement environment.
Lead with empathy as well. Emotional intelligence comes into this. Walk in their shoes and walk their path. So put yourself in their position. So when you're implementing change, when you're trying to, whether it's system change or business change or personnel change, understand how the other person's going to feel around this, and just put their shoes on for a little bit. You'll get some really great insight. And finally, Rebecca McNulty, who's been cheeky and asked us 2 questions, which is fine. Of course, we'll answer them. First one, what is one micro behaviour leaders often overlook that has the biggest impact?
So for me, it's lead with questioning. So seek to understand before being understood. So actually understand someone's emotions, how they're feeling, how they viewed the situation before sharing your own, especially in a meeting environment. We can be very quick to say our opinion, and as a manager, as our badge and our title says, the reaction from the rest of the room sometimes is, yes, boss. And actually that's not what we want. So lead with the question, get all the information in the room, and then come to a conclusion from there.
And it's funny, we both looked at these questions and formulated our own responses, and we were very, very aligned on this one in particular. Great. One skill, or question 2, sorry, one skill that doesn't get enough attention, but leaders should be prioritising right now.
For me, it's coaching, because true leadership is about how many leaders you create, not about the results you achieve now.
And I'll follow that up with neuroscience. So you absolutely implement your coaching and understand coaching, and do your courses and become a good coach. And then the neuroscience that allows us to understand other people and understand their behaviours. And once we understand that, that allows us to empower and give autonomy. And we know humans thrive on autonomy. Excellent. Darren, well done. We've got through that in a short period compared to some of our others, which was a tough challenge for us. Guys, thank you so much for submitting your questions. We hope that we've given you some sound answers that allow you to go and put that into practice and overcome those challenges that you're facing, and that's helped other people as well, which I'm sure it will do, because there's many people that will be facing those same challenges out there. If you like this version of Sound Leadership with the Q&A, then give us some more questions, put them in the comments, or you can contact us at Sound Leadership Podcast. The details are in the description for the podcast. And thank you very much for listening. Please hit subscribe, give us a follow, and we'll see you next time on Sound Leadership. The Sound Leadership Podcast was produced by Media First. To learn more about the media crisis and communications training, visit mediafirst.co.uk. The editor and producer was Darren Wingham. The show was hosted, written and researched by me, Dan Boniface. A special thanks to all the team at Media First and the BCF Group for supporting the development of this podcast. To learn more about the management, leadership, training and coaching that the BCF Group offer, visit thebcfgroup.co.uk or get in touch by emailing hello@thebcfgroup.co.uk. Finally, a special thanks to our exceptional guest today, who you can contact via the BCF Group.